All right, guys, starting off the video with my equity curve like I've been trying to do every night. You see another green dot. We had try to zoom in here, we had another new high. That's what the green dots mean. And this is this is in the record books now from January 1st through, I'm done trading for June because I have something to do tomorrow. I cannot trade tomorrow. So my first 6 months is officially in the books, and I'm pretty proud of that equity curve. Um, Again, it's everything, employing everything that Wayne and I teach in the class is where this equity curve comes from. Very proud of that, and got great reviews from the people that have taken the course so far. Highly recommend going to the site and looking that up because we are running a July 4th sale. It's a great time to take the course. We also have a deal on the course and a lifetime membership to the chat room, and it's a really good combination. Let's see, a couple other things to show before I go into the watch list for tomorrow. You know what? Before I do that, even I just want to. I hate to do this. Hate to sound like a beggar, but I really appreciate a lot of people retweeted my tweet that had the link to this video. Again, I don't advertise, so I just appreciate if you guys like these videos at all and you think they're worthwhile, and you get a watch list from me every night. And sometimes, like I said, I throw in some trading tips and some examples of what we did that day and why we took the trades and stuff. So I hope there's some value in these videos, and if there's, it takes you 1 second to just retweet it to help spread the word. I do appreciate that, and I do get a lot of nice comments about the video, so it doesn't cost you anything to retweet it, and I appreciate that. Real quick, you guys, another screenshot from today. This is funny because I tweeted that this actually felt like a loss, right? SPEX. That's what I made it took me about, I think, 4 minutes to make that this morning, right? And that's a pretty good way to start the day. But when you look at SPEX, it actually went from, well, I'll show you. I actually got long, and this was my call, just a 2-minute buy setup with red to green and high of day above as potential catalyst. So I got, my idea was 319. I actually got filled at 321, and then scaled out as it was ripping up, in the 370, 380 area, and made, like I said, made a quick $1,200-ish dollars. But it ended up going from 380. It ended up going even higher than that. Almost went to 480. So watching it do this, it actually felt like it felt almost like a loss by missing this next wave. And this was simply a matter, missing this pop right here was simply a matter of me looking elsewhere at the time. That was a pretty good setup right in here. So also wanted to share one other thing. Let me put the SPY back up real quick because you can see we kind of had an attempt at a pretty ugly candle. I literally had already recorded my profit and loss for the quarter, right, and for June and everything on paper, and it kept me, I know it sounds stupid, kept me from taking a trade. I really wanted to nibble on this SPY at $240, and on an intraday basis, you can see why. It was just getting that downside shape. 240 would have been an amazing grab. It ended up going up a couple bucks from there. I had my finger on the trigger, and I thought, you know what, then I'll have to redo my books. I'll just miss this trade. But you can see 240 was resistance here again, and had come a long way on an intraday basis down to that level. That's a great grab right there, and I know some people probably did that in the chat room today. Anyway, one other thing I wanted to share. Got an email today, and I already tweeted this too, but I just thought I'd share it. I'm in the middle of a 5-day sample of blank trading, and it is not for me. I keep losing money every day. He seems to announce trades after he's already in them and gets out before he tells people. Is it possible I could try a week and so on? The reason I bring this up isn't, I'm not taking a shot at any other, notice I blocked out the name of the other site. That's not really relevant. What is relevant is that a lot of rooms do that. The guy running the room says, oh, I'm in XYZ. And then it becomes a chase. Who else can pile in before the stock moves, and how many people are in the room? Will it move it at all? Or, and then if it does start ripping because people in the room, especially if the guy's running a free trial and has 2,000 people in there, then it becomes a battle of, all right, who's gonna turn out the lights when the party's over, right? Who's the last one out, shut the door type thing. That's not trading, guys. That's not trading. Even if you are in a room like that and you're pretty quick on the trigger finger and you're pretty quick to take profits and you're making money, you still don't know how to trade. You're just trying to mirror somebody who, by the way, it's a late call if somebody's already in it and then tells you they're in it. There's nothing illegal about it. If you're happy to chase because somebody told you they just took something and you're happy to chase, there's nothing, the guy's not doing anything illegal. But you, if you're one of those people, you are basically willingly becoming a sheep, right? You're just following and hoping to not get burned. The better answer is to actually learn from someone with an equity curve like I just showed you and actually has strategies. And every call I make, I put out the idea, the entry idea, before I take the trade, right? And I give the entry idea, and then it may or may not ever trigger. So I'll say, here's what I'm looking for. If it does X, then I'm jumping in, right? If it does this, I'm jumping in. I don't think too many rooms do that. Every call that is made in our room is given ahead of time. Anyway, I think that makes us unique, and I think it makes us a pretty darn good place to hang your trading hat. All right, I've said enough. The SPY, again, as I showed you, had a nasty intraday sell-off, but a beautiful bounce off 240. I don't know what to expect tomorrow. I want to remind everybody the market closes at 1, I think, on Monday, and is closed on Tuesday. So Monday's going to be just no volume. Tuesday, obviously, closed. And then I would think Wednesday through Friday also just very dead as far as volume goes. So, and I think you could say the same for tomorrow, right? The Friday before a weekend before what I just told you. So keep that in mind. Don't try to bet the farm. Now, some of the small caps are running pretty nice. So they're, it's not a terrible time to be trading small caps, but you also want to be careful with what the market did on intraday basis today. Okay, so here's what I'm watching for tomorrow. And again, I won't be trading tomorrow. I won't be there, but I told everybody I would still put together a watch list for them, and so I am, right? So NXTD, just kind of like SPEX, made a crazy move, and so it's extended, but that doesn't mean oftentimes the very next day we get one of the setups that we teach in our course, right? So I'm not gonna just jump in randomly. As I just showed you in SPEX, I didn't just jump in randomly in the morning. As a matter of fact, you go to 1 minute candles, and I was telling everybody, I went over this during the lunchtime period. At one point, 10, 15, 20, 30 seconds into the session, you probably had, I don't know, 500,000 shares, 20 to 30 seconds into the session, and you had a candle that looked like it was down, you had a bottoming tail, and then a rip higher, right? So I promise you, when people saw the bottoming tail, and I'm talking like 20, 30 seconds in, and saw the rip higher, I promise you there's people out there that just said, ooh, I think it's going to 4, and jumped in 5, 10,000 shares right up here at the top, only to have it do this. Next thing you know, I mean, imagine that. 10,000 or 5,000 shares, the next thing you know, you're down 40 or 50 cents. That's a bad way to start the day. And then you probably go, well, I got to kill it. And then you watch it rebound, right? So you have to have a strategy. You have to know how to trade the open. And jumping in at the open because something's running is never a good idea. Even if you jumped in here and it went up to $4 and you made, $2,000 or $3,000 in a minute, you still taught yourself a terrible habit, because more often than not, when they rip out of the gate, they do this. All right? So you really need to learn how to trade the open to keep yourself out of trouble. You saw my equity curve. That is a result of having a strategy, having a process, and making sure my strategy is met, my parameters are met before I get into a stock. And we teach you all that in our course, but I can't emphasize that enough. So anyway, I did show you specs, and I got long right here in anticipation of red to green high of day, and you had really nice volume on that candle. Got long here and literally just scaled out into this pop, whatever it was, quick $1,200. Pretty nice way to start the day. All right, so back to NXTD, and remember, let me back that out for a minute. Remember, specs look like this, looked extended, looked like there's going to be no trade in it tomorrow. I don't want to chase, and then it gaps up, and we had a nice trade in it, right? So I feel uncomfortable putting something like NXTD on watch because it's made such a big move, but that tomorrow might just give one of our favorite setups. So anyway, because of that, it goes on watch. All right, specs, I just showed you that. Now this is what you call stupid extended at this point. So I'm kind of thinking next week we might get a nice trade in it, but you never know. It might give a decent setup tomorrow. I would caution you to be extremely careful with it, because when they start getting upwards of 40 million in one day, the HFTs are drawn to this, and you're going to find a lot of fake outs, a lot of whippiness, and it becomes much tougher to trade. All right, I hope that makes sense. FSAM, big pop, gave back a lot of the pop on an intraday basis, and that whole thing was only on 1.9 million shares, and you're talking about a big range, 370 all the way to 640. But again, if you're a day trader, have that on watch. Again, with only 1.9 million shares, that is worth watching tomorrow, okay? DRWI, some of these under $1 stocks have made some nice moves. I do like the jump in volume here. I think that's worth watching. Maybe a red to green or something like that tomorrow. GEVO, Blast from the Past. I'll have to zoom in to show you the setup here. If you zoom in, you can see that it had a little bit of extra volume, bigger volume than probably in a couple months, and kind of trying to break above a lot of recent trading, 3 or 4 weeks worth of trading. So that might have a continuation day tomorrow. It's worth watching. It's definitely got nice support below now as it's breaking to the upside. So that one's worth watching. RWLK, huge move from $1.20 to $3.20, and now you're down 3 days in a row, nearing the 20-day. I think it's time to start watching that one for a bounce. DCTH, I'm going to put a couple pennies back on watching. Pennies, I say penny stock, anything like under a buck, really. DCTH had a huge move here, put in a lower high here, but it's really in a pretty narrow range, and a 3 red days in a row. That one's worth watching for a pop higher. Same with DXTR, kind of a similar setup. Big pop, secondary pop, and now then you've got a couple lower highs back down to the 20-day. Also a good candidate, especially if some of the lower price stocks get moving. And then lastly, I have UEC. I'll pan out a little bit. This one looks pretty good, almost like an inverse head and shoulders. Nice volume 5 days ago, and then a nice little pop today with a lower high. So looks good over today's high, over 162. Believe that's a uranium play. That one is worth watching as well. Wayne, if you're one of the chat room members, Wayne should be there in the morning. I won't be. I'll make sure the chat room's open though. So have a good day. Keep up the teamwork. It's been amazing teamwork all week, and I think Wayne will be on the mic at the open, calling out potential gap plays. So good luck. Hope you guys find some great gappers tomorrow, and also hope some of these trades set up for you, and you have a great day. All right. That's it for me. Again, if you're not going to be there on Monday, I won't. If some of you, you won't be hearing from me again till after the 4th. For those of you that fall into that camp, have a great 4th of July, and for the rest of you, I'll see everybody on Monday.